What is up, you two?
Yeah, what's cracking?
Got my two boys here, my main men. Got Mr. Cole. Say hey, Cole.
Say hi.
Got Mr. Tanner Mon, your old family friend.
We're more family than friends.
So old Tanner here just embarked on a new journey. Dad life.
Yeah.
The kid actually came out this big.
Yeah, this is the kid, born last week. No,
This is Cole.
This is more of a stepchild, I guess. My wife's boy. And then we just had a little girl on Thursday.
Named Ivy Logan Oaks.
No. Diane. Yeah, that's
Diane.
actually after my grandma, Sandra Diane, and she is thrilled.
So yeah, how's the new dad life? Cole, you enjoy Tanner?
That's a yes. But no, it's awesome. It's I mean, I don't get as much sleep.
I can't imagine not getting 12 hours.
Yeah.
You're still getting like 11, right?
No, like it's like 3-hour increments, sometimes 2-hour increments, but.
Dang, dude.
And you know, they say to sleep when the baby sleeps, but whenever the baby's sleeping during the day, that's whenever I gotta do things like take a shower, or mow the grass, or.
Next week you gotta go back to work. I'm with the band.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he loves this. Speaking of lasting hope, it's about time to release a new TLH song.
Yeah.
But it's an absolute banger, just sitting in the back seat. We're trying to do all this low stuff right now for the beginning of the summer, and then I think probably towards the end of June. Living Out Loud Festival in Nebraska, I think we're going to debut the new song. What it's right now is called Enemies. We may change the name 15 times before then, but it's cool. It's definitely way different than the album.
Yeah.
It's like,
Logan's got it. He gets a little hardcore.
it's the first time I've ever
Back to the
screamed
roots.
in a Lasting Hope song. And if
Ever,
you're listening
in
to
any
what-
song.
Yeah, that's true. And any, well, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know about my old tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty different, but it's not like hardcore the whole time, but it's definitely got elements of each different kind of music that we pull out. It's pretty sweet. I'm excited about it.
I'm pretty pumped about it too. It's like you said, it's just a totally different vibe than all of our other stuff, especially with our album.
Yeah.
Our album was more like hip hop, pop. This is like, I mean, it's got like the same kind of elements, but definitely like more old school too with us.
I feel like the album showed the conflict and what we were doing then compared to what we're doing now, where we split the
With
two.
low, yeah, it was
because
right there. It was literally the dividing point of
it
where
was
we
like
were
some
at.
songs on the album are like you're kind of real leaning in the rock, but we were really leaning in the rock and hip hop thing, but we wanted to keep it still like some of our old sound.
Yeah.
So when we decided to like make this new low thing, everything just worked out. I feel like perfectly in time. Like you got married, like you had to come off the road, and like touring wasn't gonna be. And at the time, I had no intention of ever playing music again, which I've talked about a little bit here and on Patreon. So it just made sense for everything. And then Braxton's going back to school, so man, we just all got old, like in a matter of months.
Yeah, it really is wild. Totally living the dad life now, and it's still new, but also it's kind of cool how we just like, yeah,
it's just working really well. Like Tanner wrote half of our new song solo, or my new song solo. It's my solo. My solo song solo.
Yeah. No,
we wrote that catchy line that everybody seems to like. The lots of blue in my inbox, left it on red. That was all Tanner. Because nobody puts blue in my inbox.
Because I'm all leaving on red. Yeah. No, he really does. Watch this, dude. Pound it.
He's like, please,
you know what I'm saying?
leave me alone. He's like, why the heck are we here? You may be wondering where Josh is. He's been in the first 2 episodes. I don't know. He said he'd probably be here, but he also had a lead worship tonight at his church down the road. And so if he may show up just right in the middle of filming right now. Oh man, I'm realizing this is kind of off-centered. Last night, Josh was over at my house, and we were recording in the studio. It's that song that I've been telling you, but I don't wanna give it away.
That's
a really cool song I've had for a while. We start hearing this like up on the roof. Where I live at in Seymour, I wouldn't say is like the safest neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to make any judgments, but I can't say that the activity they're doing is always legal, but it seems that way. So I hear this big stomping up on the roof, and Josh is like, dude, what the heck? And I'm like,
definitely not Santa Claus in the summertime. Yeah.
well,
Or Christmas in July, but it's May.
Yeah. So we hear this stomping, and I'm like, dude, was that you? And he's like, no, that's like up on your ceiling. And I was like, huh? I was like, do you have a gun on you?
I did my first test pop.
He was like, no, I don't have my gun on me, and I don't carry a gun.
Because you got these.
Yeah, when you got two on you at all times. So I'm like, all right, well, he's like, dude, call the cops. And I was like, I don't really want to bother the cops if it's just like my neighbor's just being crazy. He's like, dude, if they're on your roof, call the cops.
Well, did it sound like actual like
Oh yeah,
footsteps, like
for
a
sure. Like,
person?
we were.
Okay.
So we're like, all right. I was like, no, we ain't calling the cops. We'll go take care of it.
Yeah, we got this.
You go first. We're going out the kitchen, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get some kind of weapon. I'll get a knife. I'm looking for knives all over the kitchen, and I walk out there, and he turns around. He's like, why do you have a spoon? All my knives are dirty.
You can't stab somebody with a dirty knife.
I don't want to give him an infection. I don't want to ruin the guy's life. Turns out it was a raccoon.
I was literally gonna say, could it have been a raccoon?
What? There's a hole up here.
Did you? Is it still there?
No, he's living here. I'm only charging him $200 a month though.
There's only one person here that's small enough to go into the attic.
Josh has made a crazy weight loss transformation in the past few months. I don't know if you. Yeah. So Josh is like, he's dropped like 50 pounds, and I was kind of telling him like kind of the model that we used for on the road, because when you're touring the way we were touring, like Josh's touring is a lot better than this. He's out with for King Country.
Oh, he's probably got the best catering all the time.
He's like, yeah. I mean, it's just I just started eating grilled chicken every day. I was like, yeah, we didn't have that.
Yeah, we had Taco Bell drive-through. I'm not kidding.
They had chicken, but I can't guarantee it was real.
No.
Dieting, but we did intermittent fasting for basically, I did it for 2 years straight.
I feel we did
But
it.
we did it for that entire summer.
Definitely that entire summer, if not like
Even going into the fall.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with what intermittent fasting is, everybody's probably familiar with fasting, which you've read the Bible, if you've just lived on earth and you speak English, like basically giving up food or giving up something. Some people, you can do water. Some people can do different other types of food. Intermittent fasting, you're basically dedicating the first 6 to 8 hours of your day of not eating completely. Old science would tell you, like if you're reading a Men's Health from 1998,
Like
it'd
3
say,
square meals a day.
yeah, you need three squirrels. Well, you need
3
3 solid squirrels.
Every single day.
They need to be
round
round.
meal. Yeah.
3 square meals a day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Don't eat past 6 p.m. Don't eat past 7 p.m. or you're gonna gain weight. You're gonna blow up like the kid in
Candy shop.
that kid in Willy Wonka.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
The 2000s era, it was like you need 5 tiny meals a day. So I did all that stuff when I was in high school, I never wanted to be like ripped, but I always wanted to be thin. In my first year in college, I weighed 180 pounds, which I'm getting back there today, but I'm working on it now. I gotta slow down that. But for this summer, at this time when we started this, I weighed 140 going into that summer.
But to be fair, there was a point in time you look back at pictures and it was like you were skinny.
Hold on. Skinny. At the start of the summer. At the end of the summer, I did get really skinny.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is I got that skinny, and some of the pictures I look kind of gaunt, my chin's like my jaw was like
it was like a good loss.
But yeah, I started out that summer about 140. Yeah, I think you were trying to just maintain, knowing that we were about to start an entire summer.
Yeah.
When we booked that summer, 2017, we booked that summer completely full. It was Craig's last summer with us. At one point, I think we were gone an entire month on the road together, knowing that we were going to be at camps, festivals.
Yeah.
And for us, the camps, we ate the food. Me and Tanner, Braxton and Craig would go do breakfast, lunch. Me and you would skip and go get coffee. Basically, intermittent fasting, you have to dedicate that first 6 to 8 hours to say, I'm not going to eat anything. For us, the way to combat that is, and what a lot of people suggest, you do it too?
Yeah, you got something to say?
Yeah, if you're going to say it, say it. So basically, the way that we would combat it is coffee. Coffee has tons of advantages, but as far as like, making you more hypersensitive, it's an appetite stimulant, or appetite suppressant. Suppressant.
It's okay to be hungry. And I remember thinking, like, whenever my stomach growls, immediately I'm like, all right, somebody bring me some cheese, or I'm going to die right here.
Yeah.
It's okay to be hungry.
We, as Americans, are programmed to think that whenever we are hungry and your stomach starts to growl, that you're going into starvation mode. But really, they say, like, there's scientific evidence that says your body will not actually go into starvation mode. Usually up until past 72 hours. That's 3 days. I don't think you can't consistently keep building muscle if you don't get protein and stuff. But this diet is not set up to make you starve. You ate your calories in that limited period of time, so you don't give yourself basically enough time to overeat throughout the day.
Yeah.
And what we found is when we were playing shows and stuff like that, like we would wake up we woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. We had to get to a show by 4. We played at 6. We'd get to eat finally about 7 or 8 with catering, or whether we just went to Taco Bell, whatever it was. We would drive for 6 hours during the day. We would pull over to Starbucks, maybe get out, like I'd work on my computer, send out some type up some blogs, type up some stuff like that, book some other hotels and stuff like that. We drink some coffee, we drive for a little bit farther, pull over another Starbucks, get coffee. Craig and Braxton would eat in front of us and just make it hilarious. Oh, Craig's been mad we haven't mentioned him in any videos. Hey, Craig! We just kind of got used to doing it, and by the end of the summer, we were eating, saying you ate fast food every day for an entire 2 months of whatever summer is sounds ridiculous, but that's all we could afford as a band. We were living on basically, we'd allot $5 basically per meal for every member of the Lasting Hope. So for me and Tanner, for dinner, we had about $15 to spend. So if we went to Taco Bell, like, you'd probably get close to 2,000 calories worth of food, and that seems crazy to go get for one meal, but you hadn't ate anything other than a couple.
Two quesadilla meals and a Big Red.
You hadn't ate anything for the whole day, so all your calories coming, and the old mindset is, well, if you eat after 7 p.m., you know, you're going to get fat. The science says that your body is burning no matter what you're doing. It doesn't stop burning because you lay down. You're going to either burn it off now or you're going to burn it off later. A lot of the science and stuff that people read is from a Men's Health magazine in 1998, so like it makes sense that people don't get it. But I would encourage you, if you're struggling with weight loss, it was a huge advantage to us being on the road. When you're working and you're driven and you found something that you love and you're creative about it, you'll notice you'll go a whole day and you'll be like, oh, I forgot to eat. What we were doing is we were so influenced and choice. We were either in the car for 6 hours, we were playing a show for 2 hours, and then like we had to be completely on our game at all times. So there would be hours that went by that we weren't focusing on anything but the music, but the ministry, and it kept our brains going, so we weren't even thinking about food till the end of the day.
Are you thirsty, buddy? Dad life. Here you go. I can also make you disappear. Dad life.
I had nothing but positive things to say about it. When I switched off a certain medicine I was on that I would be happy to disclose in a private message, when I switched off a certain medicine I was on, I started having crazy food cravings, and so I couldn't keep it up. Now I'm kind of back into it, but it more just like a real casual style, because I'm just basically off the road now, so I eat healthy anyway. So it was mostly good for the road. There were some side effects to it. For you specifically,
I think it was like low blood sugar.
Yeah, it was for sure low blood.
I was so used to eating, like, not that I was like morbidly obese, but I was so used to eating all the time. I was so used to eating all the time. Whenever we would span out that time, obviously I wasn't dying. Who's dying? You know what I'm saying? Nobody dies. We die. But anyways, yeah, I think it was just low blood sugar. But I just couldn't see.
You would pull over and be like, I'm seeing
somebody else has to drive. We were in a Goodwill one time. Everybody was chilling, looking at their stuff, and I was like, Goodwill? Yeah. And I was like, guys, I gotta go out in the car. Like, I can't see, I can't walk around. I have to like feel my way around, trying to figure out where I'm at. So there are side effects, but you look good.
Temporary blindness, is it really that bad?
It's not.
You look great. You won't be able to tell.
Yeah, people are like, you look great. I'm like, really?
But no, I never had those side effects. The first 2 weeks are always really hard because you have to kind of get your body to switch to how it's used to.
And get used to being that it's okay to be hungry, because it's a
mental game.
Yeah.
But if you think about how like we lived, like the 3 meals a day is a very American thing. Like if you think about how they probably lived in biblical times and before, they spent their days out working, they spent their days out gathering food. They didn't have 3 meals a day because otherwise that would have completely interrupted their lives, their social lives, their work life. So you ate one big meal. That wouldn't mean they didn't eat other times during the day, but it wasn't this huge focus. So you've got to get this meal, this meal, this meal. Food was an afterthought for fuel in that time.
Oh,
did you see who just rolled up?
What is on his head? Dad life.
We're back! And Josh is here. Josh just pulled up on a Harley, dude. I was just thinking.
Josh just pulled up on a Harley. I was in here cracking his knuckles.
What kind of jerk is making that much noise? Like,
who is riding? Oh, it's Josh.
Love it. Cole, do you want to say anything while we're? I'm pretty sure he rolled his eyes.
Yes. He said, awkward.
One of the rudest things I've seen down here.
Yeah, you're never gonna be a guest on the show.
You're never gonna make it.
You're gonna start your own vlog. Alright, we're sorry.
You got a Lasting Hope shirt on.
Yeah.
More support than you've ever given.
You're right.
I think next week I want to release the new single.
Okay.
We got hats coming. They've been designed to look similar to this C# hat that I wear
frequently. By that I mean it's black and it has white. Right, just a regular hat.
It looks like it's a better material than that hat even.
Okay. What's the deal, man? Some of them are gonna say low, and some of them are gonna say bad news. We're gonna kind of do a proof of concept and see which comes out to be the best seller. We've introduced Josh in the last episode. If you've known The Lasting Hope, you know Tanner. Tanner's been in The Lasting Hope since 2014. But a lot of people don't know that me and Tanner have known each other our entire lives.
Literally since we were Cole's age, probably like.
Since before then. Cole is, what are you, 30?
He's 50.
Oh, 30-year-olds lick on me. They lick
He's
on
got that
people's
weird
arms.
Benjamin button. Are you licking my arm right now?
Dude, that's normal. Our parents, Tanner's dad's a pastor. My mom and dad were founders of a church that Tanner's mom and dad were pastors at. So when we were little, we were probably like 8 or 9.
It
we were
might have been
older.
a little. It was probably like more like 10.
Okay, we were probably 10 or 11. So we were country boys. You know, before we were making TikToks. So we were doing one of our country boy things that day. We were going down through the pasture, going to one of our forts, our mini forts, similar to a Fort Lauderdale, but it was called Fort
Woods.
Yep, Fort Woods.
The farm has been in our family for like 200 years or so. Like it's been
old.
long.
Tanner's like really.
His
like
dad
an elf.
is really old.
Yeah, he's 200. Going to this fort, and there was a log that I was obviously jumping over fallen trees and stuff like that. There was this log that I stepped on, and Logan had gone up in front of me towards the fort. And he went on up ahead of me to this fort, and there was this log, and it had this crack in it. I stepped on it, and I noticed I could probably break this log.
I said, hey, Tanner, whatever you do, probably don't.
Don't break that log. And I went like this. I kind of hopped a little bit, and then I jumped as hard as I could. My feet went straight down into this log all the way, and I looked down. There's probably 100 yellow jackets, if not more.
Yeah.
They were inside my shoes and everything. So I start running back to the house, taking my shoes off and everything, and Logan's like, dude, where are you going? Come back, the clubhouse is this way.
We got a fort to build. Isn't
It
that
was
amazing
so
though,
many
that
times.
my faith in our fort building was like, we can keep these bees out.
What's
your house gonna do?
It's not gonna do anything.
What's your mom gonna do?
Yeah, what's
we got
the water
a fort
gonna
out
do?
here.
Yeah.
We got bark.
From a tree. But yeah, no, it was hilarious. It wasn't hilarious. I can
We
say
could have
it's
literally
hilarious.
died thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because you
What's
got,
that
you
one
got
movie
stung.
where the-
My Girl?
Yes. Yeah, it was so funny. We go back up to the house and Logan was like, dude, what happened? Like, you know, and I'm like, man, I got stung all these times. Logan's like, yeah, I got stung too. He got stung twice. Like, on the side right here.
I think I got like 4.
Yeah,
I still even go getting stung that many times. I made me so like nauseous. I don't know what the bees. I'm sure you felt worse.
I got so many stories of Logan, like when we went sledding one time, and you didn't wear the proper sledding gear apparently. I was having a ball. We were just getting like a ramp thing going, and Logan was straight up miserable to the point where I literally let him lay down in my bed in a sleeping bag and under my blankets and was like, dude, are you okay? And he's just like, I'm so cold. He couldn't take it. It was so funny. There was another time at the same fort, there's like these mushroom things that grow up a tree, and he decides to climb up these mushrooms. He gets like 10 foot up into this tree.
Vines.
No, it was like,
Mushrooms.
you know those
Mushrooms?
big,
That's weird.
well,
They
they're
grow out
not-
on the side.
I don't know if they're really
There's some type
mushrooms.
of fungus.
Yeah, they're like big. They feel like bark
Oh,
too.
yeah,
Like they're
yeah.
pretty solid. He climbs. He's like 10 foot up in the tree, and it's on a hill too. So then all of a sudden, it breaks, and he just slides on his stomach
Just
down,
straight like this.
straight down the tree, and then it's
Carves
also
my
on a hill.
stomach.
It's also on a hill, so he goes down the hill a little bit on his
It
stomach.
just carved my stomach. You like walk back up the hill. I was like, I fell.
Oh man.
No, well, I thought you were telling the story about when we were sledding, and I remember we bragged forever and did a front flip, but really I just fell down the hill.
Oh, I was deep and did a nosedive. But you did somehow, to give you credit, somehow when you finished out the roll and you went back up on your stomach.
Imagine though if we had like a highlight tape and it just showed me like just tumbling down the hill.
Or if we had the editing equipment that we have now, we could have made that look sick.
Yeah, 2004 with
You could have been on the
2019
cover of
editing.
SS Trixie, is that what it's called?
The video game.
Yeah, you could have been on the cover, man. Yeah.
That's a sick game. Video games for like the PS2 had the best soundtracks ever. Tony Hawk
Honestly,
Pro
that'd be
Skater
sick.
2 was, I think that was PS1, but they had such good music on there. I
That would
still
be
listen
sick to be on some of our music on a video game.
Yeah, things that'll never happen.
Yeah.
You guys remember that one time we were all kids?
I'm good with faces. I could have been an FBI agent.
I've seen you meet so many fans
When
for
I
the
was-
third time in a row. It's nice to meet you.
I'm your uncle.
Right.
What's that fake uncle you have?
Uncle.
That's his name. His name's Fuzzy. He's a real uncle. Uncle Brian. He gave us wisdom about the Yukon when it blew up.
That was the weirdest joke that me and Aaron ever had. Mad that day
Well,
for some
because
reason.
I was on the phone with him and I was
broke
talking.
out in South Dakota, right?
Yeah, no, Iowa. That's what it was.
On
Yeah.
my back.
Anyways, I was on the phone with him and they were like, "Oh, you don't really have an Uncle Brian." I'm on the phone with him right now. Say hi to him so they go long.
Hey, I'm Uncle Brian.
It's like a girl. It's funny. At that point, we were like, we're down $8,000 from a motor.
And we were
Something has to be funny
Yeah,
at this point. We got ticks.
we sat out in the sun in the Yukon.
We got ticks everywhere.
Yeah, it was like Stand By Me all over again, but ticks with us.
Lasting 2015, Lasting Hope's out doing a festival with Hawk Nelson in South Dakota. We leave the festival. Did you just throw that?
Someone's got a tube.
Yeah, we drive 8 hours. We get to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Yukon engine throws a rod, blows up. So we have our trailer with us and everything. We still got 8 hours back home. We call a tow truck, but basically we're in the middle of Iowa. We have no money because we're a band.
Because
and
we're
you don't.
we
you-
make music for a living, so we
Yeah.
have no money.
And especially at 2015, we had
We're not
absolutely
Josh, who's a tour manager and all this other kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, no. We're not Josh.
I
who
mean,
deals
we're not
drugs.
Josh, who leave that one.
I know how to get by. Oh, did you just say your first words? Did you say Logan?
Oh. Did you say Logan? No.
So we get the Yukon Hall, but we have nowhere to go. We have no money for hotels. So Aaron was like, "Hey, I once did a show with this dude I know. I know his parents lived in Iowa, so I'm gonna call him up." He calls this dude's parent and is like, "Hey, we're broke down in Iowa. I'm not sure where you guys are located at, but if you guys could give us any just kind of heads up." So these people are like, "Hey, we're only 45 minutes away. We're gonna come pick you up." So they pick us up from the tow truck place. And we're like, "Awesome! They're gonna bring
They
us
were
something."
so generous.
Not only were they so generous, but what they didn't tell us was they lived in a giant mansion.
It was basically a Bass Pro house.
Yeah, dude. She's like, "You guys can stay in the basement." I'm like, "Cool,
Oh,
we're
typical,
gonna
yeah.
get like a couple couches." No, it's all completely set out.
There
They've got a
was 3
studio.
separate bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in the
They've
basement.
got a studio where 10th Avenue North recorded this for us one time.
That was the first time I've never finished a steak because it was so huge.
First time I've never finished a steak.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can your English
That's
degree
dope.
break it down?
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Bars!
Yeah.
This is called 2.5 Men.
3 1/4. This is called 3 Men and a Baby.
You know what's crazy? Oh, okay.
I was about to say, I lost my wallet, but
Thanks for tuning in once again. We've just confirmed June's special guest, and I've already announced it on Patreon. Pretty crazy.
He just totally farted on my lap.
What the heck? I was like, next guest is a extremely well-known Instagram influencer. It's Cole, with 100,000 followers on Instagram. How we got them, I can't reveal. It wasn't Josh, I promise you. As much as he wants you to believe. This is actually a really cool story of how we got this person, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. But that's going to be coming. I believe it's going to be the first vlog of June. We're going to have 1 or 2 more before that. But yeah, make sure you guys are subscribing. But make sure you guys subscribe. We're right down here. And make sure you guys subscribe. And be sure to look out for the next video. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And comment your favorite dieting techniques, your favorite books, your favorite podcasts. And what we should name...
Our band.
No. Alright, thank you guys for watching. This has been Logan, Josh, Tanner, and
Cole.
Cole.
Cole, can you say bye?
You say
Say
bye?
bye-bye. Say bye-bye.